Leafs talk. JD Bunkis, Sam McKee. Leafs do something they haven't done in a few games, which is win a hockey game. They beat the Winnipeg Jets. They reward a raucous bunch of fans. I've said this many, many times, but if you want the best Toronto Maple Leafs experience, in my opinion, it's risky, but it's going to see a game against one of the Western Conference teams, buddy.
Never done it. The only away games I've gone to, I think I went to a game in Tampa once. I've gone to a game.
You went to Vancouver to watch.
Oh, it's true. I did go to one in Vancouver. I did go to one in Vancouver.
How do I know more about your life than you?
Because you pay attention, buddy. You're a great friend. I went to a game in Vancouver. And they lost, and it was like right at the end of the Sedin's career, and that was the night they honored their past teammate Rippin. And they came out like it was 2011 Sedin's. I think they scored 3 in the first period. They were buzzing. It was unbelievable.
No, I can genuinely remember.
They were booze raining down on like me, and I was getting berated. Did you go to the wash? No, I didn't go Jersey. I went jacket, hat. Going to the washroom was legitimately a scary experience. It was not a great time, to be honest with you. The only great thing about it was that the game was at 4 p.m. So like we went out for dinner after, had a full night after the Leafs game. It was awesome.
Yeah,
that is
nice.
There was not a whole lot to be
West Coast sports are good for that in the sense of like you can have a night after the sports.
Yeah, exactly.
But also as a sportsman myself, a man who loves to stay up and watch games and feels like it's a special treat time when I get to watch all the late night sports. There is something just crap about being in a sports bar with your buds and they're like, all right, 11:30, all the games are completely finished.
It's over.
Talk to your friends about your feelings.
Is there any Aussie Rules football on that the boys can watch?
Break out the cover band because there's no more sports to be played this evening. Anyways, the Leafs get the W. It was sweatier than it needed to be, but I think the story of the game is pretty clear. It's a line that on paper, when it got together, I think a lot of Leaf fans rolled their eyes at.
Though you're looking at one.
Yeah.
I was not thrilled about the reunion of John Tavares and William Nylander, to be honest with you. And for one night only, I would like to apologize to the former captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs and John Tavares. When you don't have a point that you made earlier in the season, when you don't have Pontus Holmberg and Nick Robertsons as your line mates, still it looks like a pretty decent hockey player.
Yeah.
What a revelation.
Yeah.
When you're playing with a guy who scored 350 goals in this league and William Nylander is one of the best players in the league, all of a sudden old Johnny Toronto started to look like a real hockey player again. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but maybe I I'm going to owe this guy an apology. Sorry, John. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. Never did I think I was going to have to white knight for John Tavares. Okay. I think as critical as anybody in the past. I guess I've just sort of recalibrated my expectations of him as a player, knowing that he's never going to live up to being the $11 million man. Like the window of Tavares being the catalyst for Stanley Cups is over, right?
Yes.
But he's not a bum. And the way that people talk about him, and I think a lot of this is actually framed through social media because I don't find his criticisms as frequent amongst friends or colleagues or whatever, whenever it's just sort of spoken. But he sort of is the safe landing zone when it comes to, I would say anyways, Twitter criticisms, right? Like you can take a shot at John Tavares and no one's going to push back at you, right? You take a shot at Nylander, Marner, Matthews, it's going to be a whole thing for you. And you could have 48 Twitter followers. Oh, yeah. I disagree with that, too. But it feels like political when you make fun of any of the other guys, right? Like you're making a real statement, With Tavares, whatever he does poorly, people can say it. And most people will just go, nod because they're disappointed with the contract. And these are the two things that I've been consistent on going into this season. I thought that he and Pacioretty could have something because of exactly what you saw tonight. They're two big bodies, two vets with big old hockey brains who have seen a lot of action, and they're not easy to get the puck off their sticks when they're below the dots. And if you look at how a lot of these goals are created tonight, it's these guys on the wall giving problems to a big Winnipeg Jets team, creating for their teammates in front of the net because they got to send extra guys over them. And they're two guys who can capitalize on mistakes. And so I'm not ready to say I think Nylander on this line is a good thing. I thought he was the most quiet out of the three this evening on the line, but I still hope that Nylander can drive his own and that he doesn't need to be with Tavares. But I think if you're a Leaf fan tonight, the most encouraging aspect is, hey, if Tavares and Pacioretty, they can both stay healthy in their advanced ages, obviously less of a concern for Tavares, they might be able to cook up a little bit of chemistry between the two of them.
Yeah, I think that's well said. I liked Willie a lot tonight. I thought it was his best game in a while. Thought he was buzzing around pretty good. He scored the second goal on another great play out in front of the net. He shoots it past.
I didn't say he was bad. I just thought that the other two guys stuck out more to me on the line when the offense was happening earlier.
I got to tell you, bud, Willie needed this. Like there's been a undercurrent from Berube in terms of I think it's a pretty predictable outcome here that the old gritty defense first coach isn't going to love William Nylander at times. And this is a pretty predictable outcome, but like he's down almost 2 minutes a game from last season for this year. He's been put on the quote unquote second power play unit. Berube's talked multiple times about him showing frustration and feeling frustrated. Like he needed one of these. And those two guys, William Nylander and John Tavares, we have kind of rolled our eyes at their chemistry and them playing together and us not loving it. But I thought tonight that he was a really good part of that line and a good mix. Like for sure, Pacioretty and Tavares were the catalyst for a lot of what happened, like you said, with the good board work. But I liked William Nylander receiving those passes. He makes an awesome behind the back pass to Morgan Rielly, who is actually not even going to ask you the question, who scores on the best shot of his career by far. Like that. He has. No, that's the best. That's the best one. He stares down Hellebuck and goes bar down ferociously, like a barely touched mesh. Yeah, that's his nice. He's never shot one harder than that.
No,
he scores a nice one on Saturday night.
I love goals like that. Yeah. I love goals like that too, where it's like they don't like hit the back of the net like that, where it's just like ping ping and it just sits there. Yeah, you're like, look at it, at it sitting there behind you. Yeah, it was sexy.
He stared down. Oh, go ahead. He
tied McCabe and Caberlet on the Leafs all-time goal list.
Yeah, he's playing a long time for the Leafs.
For sure. But
Caberlet never shot in his career, so it's amazing. Caberlet has one goal because I never saw him shoot in his whole career as a Leaf. So, he just would hold on to the puck until the last possible minute, and then make the perfect saucer pass. But McCabe that's the premier offensive defenseman of our youth, the blast from the point. Like that's what you always think of. So good for Rielly. I thought he was pretty good tonight. I thought that goal was beautiful. Probably, like I said, nicest shot of his career. And I needed this tonight, buddy. I was feeling it. I was like, hopefully this team doesn't just suck. I know they always start slowly, but to see them go out big against a team that's got an 8-0 record and clearly they make a comeback, we can talk about this. But I thought at even strength, the Leafs were not even close to a way better team. Like I just thought for most of the night, they were absolutely caving the Jets in physically, just offensively, everything. They were all over them.
Yeah. Listen, the Rielly shot is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Rielly finishes with 3 points tonight? I think he finished with 3.
So.
But yeah, really good game for him. No, I just think it was a cool milestone to hit both those guys. And I just love that McCabe and Caberlet are tied on that list, that two guys that are synonymous with one another.
Rielly was a +3 with the one goal.
Oh, okay. I thought that he had 3. Well, for some reason, I thought he had more, like he got more on the assist sheet, but that makes sense given what the other guys had. But yeah, so for him to sit there with those guys is cool. But I just liked the fact that McCabe and Caberlet tied together, share that statistic, share that total. And quick McCabe thing. I will never get over the disrespect Team Canada showed him in 06 at the Olympics, where they were just picking bodies off the streets after his career year, refusing to play him. Guys had broken feet. They were like, get out there on the ice before McCabe. Anyways,
that was one of the like early big time takes that I remember being really upset about him not making that team. Like, it was,
remember what the other thing that pissed people off was from that Olympics?
Was that, tell me, was it I remember Eric Stahl and Sid didn't make it. Was that it? I forget.
The big thing that pissed a lot of people off was that they put Bertuzzi on the team after obviously war.
Right.
And there were people I remember that I knew who were like, I can't support Team Canada putting Bertuzzi on the team. Yeah.
That's a tough take. But was that the year that Sid got left home? Like, was it 06, right? The team you're talking about?
Yeah, 06.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah. Anyways, we're
Well, he
going
would have
down
been
the
left home.
rabbit
He
hole
wasn't.
here.
I don't think he was on that team. But yeah, either way, that was the worst that we've ever had. That was like that. All the summits happened after that one. That was the
Robin
start of the
Regier was on that team,
not a
and
good one.
like
Yeah.
old Rob Blake. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a tough one.
Yeah,
that was a tough
toughie.
team.
Anyways, back to this game. You're right. The Leafs dominated 5-on-5. I thought they came out with real purpose. Like this Winnipeg team, you can't take anything away from them. They've been dominating to start the season. They've got all these Leaf fans in their building. They're probably annoyed that they're there. They want to come out and show an effort. Winnipeg's no different than all the other teams. They want to play Toronto the same way and hard. And the Leafs just imposed their presence. So good for them. Again, the standard is back that we were holding them to after the Tampa game. The only thing in this game was just relentless dumb penalties late to try and let Winnipeg and their red hot power play back in it. But yeah, you take Winnipeg's special teams out of this, and those two teams didn't look like they were on the same planet. And Winnipeg is the talk of the town around NHL circles about them being finally the team of destiny. I was like, what? Don't we do this every year with Winnipeg? Don't they get hot for a stretch? And then everyone goes, oh, we didn't respect them enough. And then it's like we get to the playoffs and then they get bounced by a good team. Like, I don't know. I'm just very familiar with this Winnipeg narrative. Sorry, Winnipeg fans.
Can I present to you the start of their season schedule-wise?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
they got the Sharks in there, they got the Penguins in there, they got the Blackhawks in there, they got the Flames in there, they got the Kraken.
Flames are good.
Flames are okay.
Yeah.
They've had a hot start. Listen, I don't want to disrespect my Flames. I like the Flames.
I was going to say, you're going to go against the Flames?
No, I won't disrespect my Flames, but they're going to have a tough goal here soon.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Hot start. But anyways,
I think I'm getting Kadri on the podcast this week, so there's no disrespect.
His book, you guys are just gonna have a Barry Dubas fest on that show.
I'm a book guy. Hey, guess what? After the Sundin interview, all the guys come to me for the book interviews now. That's the way it's gonna go down. I thought that this was an awesome game for the Leafs, and you're right about Nylander needing it to have a good night. I will admit that I felt a little almost, I don't want to say annoyed by it, but I do think Nylander needs to be on his own line and that he's got to be the driver of that, and that the ultimate success for the Leafs is going to come with 3 lines, not 2. And when you go to the Domi with Holmberg and mismatch McMann line, it just doesn't feel like come any meaningful moment of the season that group is going to be able to put up something significant.
Can I give a positive McMann thought though? Sure. After his benching on Saturday, where the puck explodes off his stick and it leads to a huge goal in that Bruins game, Berube talked about it today about him just playing, he wants him to be more simple. He wants him to be a power forward. He wants to paint stripes on a pussycat. I don't know if it's necessarily going to work, but I thought tonight he definitely was more aggressive than he'd been in games past. I thought he was in on the forecheck hard. I thought he was using his feet. I thought he was being a little bit of I thought he looked like a power forward tonight. I thought he had his moments where I don't know how much he ended up playing tonight, but he was taking the puck to the net hard. He does it right at the end of the game there where he blows by Pionk, gets the one-hander in on Hellebuck. Wasn't much of a threat or whatever, but I just thought that, he was improved tonight after getting called out a little bit by his coach and getting benched. So good for him. Like, I don't think you're going to go with that line a whole lot longer, if I'm being totally honest. I don't think, like you said, I don't think that's going to be your playoff starting third line with McMann, Domi, and Holmberg. But I did notice McMann from a positive tonight, and I thought he was pretty good.
His coach agrees with you because he ended up with 16. So it's like he
got 8 on Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he got his chances. He came out flying, and man, honestly, the hitting for him tonight is going to be just such a key. Is finish your checks, dude. Yeah, like that's going to get all the attention from Berube is if you can just finish those checks. And yeah, he does that. He's going to probably keep getting, I don't think maybe that much ice time, but he's going to get more ice, obviously. The other guy, obviously, the size dude was just, it felt like just another good Knies game, man. Scores again. He's got 5 on the season. He has that one play in the game where he turns back to the net, skates in, finds an opportunity, and gets it towards the net for a dangerous chance. He looks phenomenal. And
do you want the real take here? Do you want the take? It's not the Marner contract that keeps you up at night. It's this one.
So I tweeted about it. I was like, an innocent tweet, like, hey, they're probably going to regret not getting this done. And I got all the crybabies in my mentions going like, why can't you just enjoy the season? Why can't you just enjoy watching the games? You got to be the biggest idiot, honest to God, if that upsets you. Like, you're such a binary thinker if your brain can only process like playing good, playing bad, No other thought in brain.
Easy. That's a bit of our fan base here.
It's got to be the biggest bozo on planet Earth who gets upset whenever you're like mentioning a contract that's going to come up. Man, Knies, that was one of the discussion points ahead of the season was, hey, what is the contract going to look like? Should they try and get this done now? There was some talk that the Leafs were trying to get it done. There was some momentum there. I don't know exactly what happened. I love when people make the assumption like the team tried, the player didn't. It's like, well, that means the team didn't try enough. Duh. Like there's a difference between going comfortable into a season and deciding to go into a season. And yeah, Matthew Knies so far, he's been phenomenal. So yeah, you're happy with his play, but I think that a lot of the sensitivity in this market right now around the hockey team is for most of us that can think about more than one thing at one time and still enjoy something. Yeah, you got to wonder what the number is. I actually think that it's going to be better than people think is actually what my prediction is going to be.
McCabe.
What?
Like
yeah,
the
McCabe's contract is good. Yeah,
I like that one. Surprised me. That one surprised me too. I was like, well, that's I guess they attacked on the extra year to get it down under 5 million or whatever. But like to me, that was an awesome contract.
It just sucks that they have so many guys who are old. Like it just there's real potential. But again, that's not Tree Living's problem. It's like what was left for him. You can't develop. You need to hit on Danford. Like that's got to be a guy that comes up and helps you over the next couple of years and supports what could be one guy aging out a little bit quicker than the others. But no, I thought that was like I actually thought that was a little bit less than what I expected it to come in at for McCabe.
We talked about this today with Kipper and Borney, but it's like, they get number one defenseman. You don't get number one defenseman on July 1st. You know where you get number one defenseman? The draft. You get them in the draft and then you develop them for 7 years and then they become your stud. Over the past however many years with Kyle Dubas in charge, they never drafted one good defenseman that turned into anything. Like think about it. Like Riley was the prior, the people that were before. It's like Liljegren was supposed to be one of those guys. Sandin, they took drafted him. Burke draft, and then it's like Topies and Ronies and all these 5'4" guys that have never had a sniff of the NHL. And it's like, boy, sure would have been nice to have one guy coming into his own right about now. So this is what you have to do. You have to sign the guys that are here. And I'll give Dubas credit for the trade to get McCabe. It was a good one because they had him on the cheap contract for the last 2 years. That was a good trade. I'll give him full credit for that one. But like they never drafted and developed the guy. So anyways, I don't need to go down that road, but I like the contract for McCabe. It's hard to find defensemen, and I think he's a good one, and they have him for 5 years.
Okay. Any thoughts on them splitting up the power play?
I actually, I'm going to sound like Craig Berube here. They had two of them. The first one, they snapped it around. And it looked a lot more decisive. I thought they were passing it better, and they had a couple looks that didn't go in or whatever. But you're keeping it like that for a while. And I do think that you'll get positive results from it. I don't want to do too much into it, but at least they gained the zone and they passed it around and they made progress, in my opinion, tonight. You?
So I'll do one little mini take because again, it's a nothing sample so far, and they didn't score. But I've been advocating for this, like not exactly this mix of players, but whatever. I'm not going to cry that they put 2 and 2. And I know that on the surface, it looks like this massive demotion for Nylander specifically, where you're like, what did Nylander do? What did Nylander do? I actually just and what I saw in a small stretch was the thing I like about the unit is it allows Marner and Nylander to be separated and both of them kind of be the creative guys that move the defense around. And I just thought Marner was far less stationary in that he felt like the jitterbug with the puck, where it's like he's going to open things up for players, that it didn't feel as binary as like, okay, we're going to all be on the perimeter and wait for hopefully Matthews to get a clean look, and then we feed it over to him, or Nylander comes down that right side and gets a halfway clean look and rips one on the net. Like I think that those two guys being separated and getting that extra just feeling of you can have the puck longer, it's worth a look. That's all. I liked what I saw tonight in a little flash, but again, it was a nothing and they didn't score, so I can't really celebrate too much about it. But yeah, I think you give this another 6-7 games and see how it goes, and then go back to whatever the hell you do moving forward. Anything else from this game for you?
I got a couple quick rapid fires. First one, Tanev corner. I don't know if we have the empty netter show or whatever, but the play that he makes, he's on for a couple tonight against. I think he ended up a +1 or a +2 tonight. He was on for a couple against, which you don't love. But the play he makes on the empty netter where they're coming in with pace, it's a hard rim, under pressure, he goes in there, digs a puck out, and on the left side of the ice, where he's on his right-handed side, where he's on the right side as opposed to a left-handed defenseman over there, on the right side of the ice. What am I talking about? I'm doing my north. On the right side of the ice, he digs it out in the corner with 2 or 3 guys on him, bearing down on him, and makes a great saucer pass right out to Tavares, who gets it on his stick and puts it in the net for the hat trick. To me, all I thought about is years past with them trying to do that with TJ Brody and him being on his offside, and like our joke, him never enjoying one game of hockey he's ever played in his life, where he just has to beat it to a square every night. And that's what I thought of. And Tanev makes a cool, calm play. And I just picture it in a playoff game, man, where you're up 1, they're dumping it into the corner. He's there, digs it out, gets it out, and you get an empty netter. I got to tell you, I love that play. I know it's a little thing, but it's just something that jumped out to me. It just jumped out to me.
Yep. What else?
And my last thing, sometimes I think I'm old, and I always joke with you about how I'm old, but Petrillo was talking about it on the broadcast tonight.
I have an old guy take.
But she was talking to Berube about fighting Ty Domi.
Yeah.
And I haven't reached the point of my life, old guy life, where I call my buds by their son's name yet. And he's like, I call Max Ty all the time. I call Max Ty all the time. Yeah. At least I'm not that old yet. Okay. I'm getting up there, but like, he's like, and he's like, he calls him Ty all the time.
Ways to go before that.
I know. Yeah, like, that's a little wake up call. It's like, okay, I'm not that old yet, but I just love that he can't help himself calling him Ty. Kills me. Me.
Listen, you act old, you feel old, you're gonna get old.
I know.
My old guy take, actually, I was thinking about this. I wasn't gonna do it. I almost tweeted it, but I didn't want to just sound like the cranky old guy. It's just hockey is the only sport where you find out when the game starts when you turn the game on. Like,
wow, this is just because it's across
like baseball. Baseball goes, hey, first pitch is at 7:07, and guess when it will be? 7:07. The NFL, they're like, hey, 1:00. The game is at 1:00 this evening. And you go, cool. Hockey, you tune in, and it's just like, what are we doing tonight? Like, when will the game be? Oh, you said 7:30. Now we're doing a pregame show. Okay, so is the game now? Is it now? Is it soon? Is it when they're gonna do it? And today it was like almost 20 minutes after, like it was almost 7:50 before they dropped the puck. And yeah, I cared more because I wanted to watch World Series, and I should be going to that right now because it's still 4-0. It's still ball game. But yeah, it just drives me crazy. Just in that, all broadcasters, all partners, everyone, stop this thing where you say the start time and it's not the start time. We all hate it. Just tell us the time that the game starts. Please.
Here's what I'm going to do for you, buddy. Okay. One of the things I used to do as producer of Leafs Nation postgame and pregame for Sportsnet 590 The Fan, the radio network, I would get in touch with every PR person around the league to find out what the actual puck drop was so that we could do it for our timing for the broadcast. So here's what I'm going to do for you, bud.
Thanks, man.
I'm going to text the broadcast. I'm going to text the PR every night before the game. Be like, what time's puck drop tonight? And then I'm going to text you and tell you what the exact puck drop is. So you don't have to spend 1 minute. So this is what I get from this is that you don't love, Sportsnet. You don't love watching a pregame show.
I actually watch pregame shows all the time.
I know. You have to because they lie about the stuff of the games.
No, but it's not even the pregame show stuff. I usually like watching the pregame stuff anyways, just because they'll be like, hey, maybe there's an injury or a scratch or something that I missed. I usually watch that stuff. Like, remind me of what's going on with this game, get my brain sort of focused. It's not that. It's that I'm like, I'm ready for the game. Like I usually do tune in too early anyway, right? So I'm adding the extra time is the real issue here. Anyway, also I'd like to say that I don't know what it is, but I'm coming around on the black sweater. I used to hate its guts and I don't mind it anymore. I've warmed up. I've softened. I do think that makes me a little bit of a Tampa Bay Lightning fan where it's like, you're thieves. There's something about it that's wrong, but it was aesthetically pleasing for me tonight. I don't know if it was the jersey matchup or what, but it was the first time where I looked at it and went, not horrible.
I'll go a step further.
You love it.
Love it. I've come around. I
growing on
didn't
me.
like it to start, but I do love it. I
Yeah.
think I like two or three times a year. It's nice.
Yeah.
But if we're in Jersey Corner, there's not a team more desperate in the league for a rebrand than the Winnipeg Jets.
Oh, yeah,
those are the most 2012 looking jerseys I've ever seen in my life. Like, those colors are bad together. Just go back to your old ones. They're beautiful. Or like do a spin on the old one. Like, it's just, those jerseys are bad.
I agree.
Time for a rebrand, Jets.
I agree. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the podcast. Please do that. Even if you're a YouTube watcher, it really helps us. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkis, Sam McKee. Reach out anytime, and we will catch you
Thursday against the Squids.
Thursday against the Squids. See you then.